if you go to other countries, realize animals get better health services than Ugandans.
The issue of medical interns has really been here for as long as we can remember.
I think they just want to test the waters to see whether we're okay to take the new fake policy they are trying to bring on board.
Why does it seem like there is a government initiative to push for people to be in sciences, but at the same time, there is no political will for them to deploy young people into the same field that they push people into?
Our challenge as a country is that you realize we have problems of priority, and the priority of this country is politics.
What the current interns could be needing is like approximately about just 30 billion Ugandan shillings, right? To finance about 2,500 medical interns. But you find that Parliament is being allocated 158 billion to buy cars. You find trillions are being spent in the defense budget that we have. Before you say you're buying guns to go fight wars which are not even ours, or to protect us as a country, are you going to protect dead men? So what is the change in this new policy? What is the government saying? Recently, the conversation in Uganda has been around such a critical sector of our country, the medical sector. A conversation on medical interns and their internship, which has led us down a rabbit hole of different discoveries along the way, from the fact that we have an understaffed medical sector, but also the conversation of modern day slavery that most young people go through even after they have graduated the university. Well, today with us on our podcast, What Ought, we have hosted a guest, Anyama Berliner, doctor, by the way, who has been in the pits of the struggle of medical interns for such a long time now. He is now a doctor, but we want him to give us a clearer picture, but also engage in this conversation with us. As usual, I have my co-host, the one and the only
Lawel, Muhwezi, Joshua of Kampala, Uganda.
Yes, and myself, Aloikin, praise Opoloje. So let's just jump right into the podcast. Hi, Anyama Berliner. You're most welcome here.
Thank you, Praise. Thank you, Lawel, for hosting me here.
Yeah. Before we get into the gist of everything, I just want our audience to understand, why is a medical intern? Why is a medical intern so different from any other form of student intern? And why should they pay and not lawyers or lawyering students or SWA students or any other university students?
Okay, basically, a medical intern, when we use the term intern, it makes most people to misunderstand who these people are. So basically, a medical intern is somebody who has graduated from the university. In our line, somebody who has already gotten his or her bachelor's in medicine and bachelor's in surgery. Those are two bachelors. Then before even graduation, what people commonly refer as to as internship, these are things which these individuals went through. What you were pointing out, students from other courses are also doing internship. That's something which they have been doing not all their time while they were in in the in medical school, especially in the clinical years, because there are some times when they send you to the community for some 2 months. Then after that, even before you join year 5, you go for 3 months. So they have basically been doing internship. Now, I think the right term, to put this is supervised practice after, completion of one's degree. So these individuals, they have completed, they are fully qualified, and they are entitled to a supervised practice. And this supervised practice is, something which is mandatory, because these individuals are going to be dealing with lives. They already know what to do, but supervisors need to see how they are doing it, and also help them perfect it, because when you are dealing with a human, it's not like how you may be carrying a sack of potato, throwing it here and there. This is something which needs close monitoring, just like how you will not wish to sit in a plane when the pilot is really not that good. Yes. So at the end of the day, that's how crucial the training is. Of course, some people, they may opt not to do the training, and they can venture in the other fields where they can earn. But if you want to proceed with the clinical practice, you need to do the supervised practice, which is 1 year. Yeah, and during this period of supervised practice, usually most times you are on duty. Yeah, like I remember what happens is that in internship, you start your duty maybe in the morning. Let me say today is a Monday, you have started your duty in the morning. You'll work up to 5 p.m. Then if you are the one on call, you continue till the following morning. In the morning, you just go, you change, dress up, and you come and start also ward round. So you can imagine how hectic it is. So imagine somebody working like that. Imagine somebody doing all that without having any allowance. How will this person, cater for his feeding, his or her feeding, and other necessities? And the most interesting thing is that you can come from, maybe if you're from Kampala, you may end up being posted in Karamoja. Somebody from Karamoja is posted in Kampala. Like, it's randomly, or you can be taken to the western part of the country. So randomly, when you are spending all this time on ward, where will you get time to get money, to have accommodation, to have rent? So it's something really which is not fair. And the most important thing is that there's already a precedence. Doctors who are doing internship were being paid.
Yes. So what is the change in this new policy? What is the government saying?
Now, the government is, I don't know, they are really doing what is called divide and rule. I'm quite sure most people, they know what divide and rule is in the colonial time. Just like what you saw, they were talking about increasing only the salary for science teachers. Now it's the same thing they want to do with the medical interns. They're looking at paying only the medical interns who studied on government sponsorship. I remember in 2023, when I just completed, we had 2 lots of students who were not deployed. I mean, medical interns who were not deployed. There were 2 lots. And because of these numbers, the government, they had a plan of only deploying medical interns who studied on government sponsorship. And of course, I also studied on government sponsorship, but we strongly oppose this. And we had peaceful demonstrations. And the most painful thing was, I remember, while I was arrested, I was in the police. I told these people, I asked them, like, from northern Uganda here, how many of you have children who study on government sponsorship? None of them. Then I was like, most of the doctors who come from northern Uganda, they end up studying from the private university, KIU and the others, because they don't meet the weight. Yes. So it means most of these parents may be selling land, toiling, all that. You remember the tuition of these private institutions, it's really very expensive. Somebody pays up to 7 million plus in tuition. So
per semester.
Yeah, per semester. And that is how hectic it is. The moment the person gets done with the course, they will have really exhausted.
Depleted.
Their saving is really depleted. So it will not be okay for a parent who has, put all their effort in educating their child until they have graduated, to again, foot the burden of again sponsoring them for doing internship. Yet they'll be doing this work for the government. Just as you noted, the hospitals are understaffed, and these people are the one covering the gaps in the hospitals. And that is how terrible it is.
I have read a piece on X that says that because the hospitals are understaffed, most of these interns, when they go out for this internship, are not even under supervision. They are on the front line of carrying out these different procedures that exist, for example, during emergencies and stuff like that. I don't know, how true is that?
Yeah, it is true, because as I have told you, like me, like where I come from West Nile. And immediately, the moment we're in medical school, we start going to the hospitals early. So I can tell you, before year 3, I'd done my first cesarean section. I was learning. I was really very committed. So I can tell you during the 3 months period before somebody joins year 5 or medical school, most of these individuals, they attach themselves to some facilities which gives them, that chance, to practice and all that. And by the time you are going to year 5, you are well good to go. Yeah, you are good to go. And just as you had noted, these people, these consultants, they have a lot of other things to deal with. So when you're in the hospital, it is your primary responsibility. Maybe you can get an emergency, you do the basic thing, then you present what you have gotten because you understand how the person is presenting. You give a call to your supervisor. If we have a person, this, I've done this, and the results are this. Then the supervisor will say like, I think we should do this before I come to review tomorrow. You get it. At the end of the day, when the consultant is coming to see the patient, everything is done. At least decision can be made when things are in the right position. Just to highlight to you something very painful. I think last year we lost a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon. May he shall rest in peace. How it happened? He got an accident. He was riding a motorcycle. He got an accident and his leg was severely injured, had multiple fractures. He was taken to hospital. In the hospital, there were these nurses. There are these new nurses who usually, who had just joined the nursing school. They are very enthusiastic about learning, and they try to be there for night call. So when they brought this patient, they are the ones who are there. They don't know much. I understand even the videos they were recording that, doctor, don't worry, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. If that was to be an intern, they could have applied a tourniquet, they could have saved that person. Yes. But I'll tell you, that's how the patient, the doctor bled to death. So that's why we are like, in this issue of internship issues pertaining the health sector, it should be something which we should have collective responsibility to.
It should be a priority as a country.
When we're advocating, everyone should. You may think you're not affected. The next time you fall a victim, who knew that he will have gotten into that?
Yeah, as Lawel comes in, let me just ask this last question. What is the ratio, doctor to patient ratio that's recommended, and which one do we have?
Where one doctor is supposed to see 1,000 patients on the line. Yeah, but in Uganda, we want, according to the number that is employed in the government health system, one doctor sees over 25,000 patients.
I find that so ironic because our president is always talking about sciences, people study the sciences, and for the medical system that we have, like the statistics are so alarming the way you've spoken. I would expect that our priorities would be around putting more people in the field, deploying more interns in the field. And I know that the government has given excuses about money, there is no money. And yet when you look at where money is being put, the amount of money that is being deployed in the places that don't really matter. For example, what the current interns could be needing is like approximately about just 30 billion Ugandan shillings, right? To finance about 2,500 medical interns. But you find that Parliament is being allocated 158 billion to buy cars for, members of Parliament. Their vehicle facilitation, you find trillions are being spent in the defense budget that we have. If we look at the budget, for example, of State House, there is a lot of money being injected there, which even reappears even in supplementary budgets across the year, over like 3 times in the year. And look at, like, for example, Atiak, the Lawel hospital and stuff like that. For me, it begs a question, like, this is why does it seem like there is a government initiative to push for people to be in sciences, but at the same time, there is no political will for them to deploy young people into the same field that they push people into? How do you reconcile that two?
Actually, the issue should be much deeper than even just deploying medical interns. Yeah. You can ask yourself, over the years, doctors have been doing internship yearly, and, they are passed out, fully qualified to undertake clinical practice. Where do they go? Now, we have a lot of gaps. Our challenge as a country is that you realize we have problems of priority. Fixing the health sector and the education system, they have not been priority. If they were, by now, we could have seen changes. I can tell you that why will staffs of URA have different budget for insurance? Why will Parliament have different budget for insurance, health insurance especially, over 18 billion? You get it? Yes. URA goes up to, URA goes up more than 18 billion, Parliament over 23 billion. Why are we having this? It is because these people, they know very well the system is rigged. Yes. The health sector is not okay. You can go there, a doctor is attending to so many people. You can go there, some machines for evaluations are not there. So for them, they will opt to go to these private facilities. And for them, they are catered for. And this is the reason why some people in this country, they are not bothered. They don't know the reality of what is happening. Yeah, so that's how ambiguous the issue is. The ideal thing is to absorb doctors into the health sector. Now you realize that they will be talking about the wage bill. When they are drafting maybe a budget, if a district or maybe in a region is to recruit doctors, they'll look at the wage bill. They'll be like, this is not a priority. We'll be like, we have reduced the wage bill, which affects recruitment. And all this comes from lack of political will. Yes. So ideally, if we are to have a change in this thing, we should have more recruitment of doctors. The more doctors we recruit, the more people will be interested, to go and master in some critical areas. Yeah. Like for example, right now there are some super specializations which are very rare here in the country, and it is now much more discouraging when you are having an atmosphere that does not give doctors motivation. Yeah. I can tell you, growing up, I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, to operate people who might have broken their bones, all that. And I can do it right now. Even I have the qualification to go and do the masters if I wish anytime. But the question is, am I interested given what is prevailing in the country? Definitely no. Definitely no. Yeah, definitely I'll advance in a different field. So at the end of the day, the situation which is being created, it is going to have a very long-lasting effect on our health sector. Yeah.
Lawel, over to you.
My only question would be, what do you think goes on in the minds of the policymakers? Why it's not enough? Okay, priorities, but what do you think they think when they decide to do this? I don't know if the question is clear.
Yeah, I get. At the end of the day, when you are working for somebody and the person's priority is B, I'm the one paying you, I'm telling you to do B, you cannot do A. You get it? If not, I replace you. You get it? So most of the politicians we have, they don't have that audacity, they don't feel the pain of the majority, I should say. Just as I pointed to you, most of them, they get their health insurance is covered, their family members are covered. So they are blinded.
They're insured from the reality.
Yeah, they insured from the reality.
Ugandans.
Yes, they insured from the reality what most Ugandans go through. And, that one creates a vacuum where people really don't know what is on ground. And that is a very, very, very big problem. I can tell you, if you go to other countries, realize animals get better services. Better health services than Ugandans. And these are things which are possible to achieve if the government wish to.
Why I ask that is, even when I understand this government, I don't know if it's goodwill, political will. Sometimes I'm inclined to think it's just incompetence. But sometimes there are things I just can't explain, because the issue of medical interns has really been here for as long as we can remember. Yeah. Year in, year out, you have medical interns, they are striking, they are not giving their due. I just don't understand why.
The dues are delayed. Now they're saying the delays are going.
So what I just don't understand is why can't government just provide this money? And like Praise said, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yes. So I think the problem is this. The problem of the government is in planning. And this is a deliberate move, you know. What I can tell you is that, you know, when you are coming up every financial year, different budget lines come, you know, from different ministries.
Yes.
And Ministry of Health knows how many medical doctors will be, you know, will be graduating. They know, they have the statistics. They know the estimate, you know, they have. And I can tell you right now, as Chris is telling this, realize that at least this coming year, the deployment number is going to be less compared to compared to the one of the current one. You get it?
Yes.
And they are well aware of the numbers. So you cannot tell me that the Ministry of Health did not deliberately. Yes, I think they just want to test the waters to see whether we're okay to take the new fake policy they are trying to bring on board.
Yeah.
You get it? They're trying to test the waters. They tested the waters by declaring just randomly on social media we're paying medical interns 1 million. People reported, for me, though at first I was against it, people reported because they were kept at home for over 14 months.
Yeah,
then.
so you'd rather go and get the 1 million.
People are like, let's go and, you know, get it. Otherwise, interns were supposed to get 2.5 million.
Yes.
2.5 million, that was the price. I mean, the amount of money they were entitled to. So it is just a deliberate move. They are trying to see how to maneuver in the new policy. But ideally, the government has all it takes to regulate the number of the, medical doctors. If they are saying the number is a lot, but if we are having a bigger number of health workers, is it not something positive that it should be celebrating?
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's a conversation I was having with my border guy that brought me to work today. And you can see that, I feel for me, Lawel, like the conversation we have had so many times on this podcast, it's now an issue where the state is no longer ashamed, right? And now that he gives that explanation that here we are testing the waters to see how far can you break, like how far can you bend such that we can get our way, such that of course we can get more money to, for example, do all the dubious things that you want to do with the money. But there's a culture in this country entirely where the people that work the hardest, the people that work the most, the professional workers, and the least. And at the end of the day, all the money is injected into the politics of this country. Right? And for that money to be found to be injected into the politics of this country, it must be removed from somewhere. And because when this government sits down to like pick their priorities.
But Praise, what I also want you to answer, what's that? Is it incompetence?
It's not
is it
incompetence.
politics?
No, it's deliberate politics. Deliberate politics. Because we know that where do they want this money to go? They want this money to go and feed their politics. Where are you going to get money? You're going to give MPs 100 million after being in Chankwazi. Where is the money going to come from? Where are you going to get the money? You're going to bribe people at polling stations. It's going to come from there. You're going to want to pass bills along your tenure. Where is the money going to come from? Of course, you have to, because there is a static figure we have as a country from which we draw all our money for the different budgets. So the more you save for your political needs, for your...
If you can afford not to pay this one,
exactly,
then you can save
for
a
your
lot of money.
So it's deliberate, yeah? It's deliberately done. And that's why I think I differ from like Dr. Anyama. It's not even the lack of knowledge. They know these things. They know that it's because most people before they become MPs are languishing broke people within their communities, right? They are not so different. They are not so alienated from their communities. If you, for example, hear the speaker's story where she tells you she was once a house girl and she has climbed, they know. So someone can climb to those ranks and they know where they have come from. Chris himself was having a fight with the first son and he was saying, I've worked my way up. I know where I've come from. So they know these things, but it's deliberate because of that the lack of that political will, or where the political advantage falls at the end of the day. And it's more than just the medical field. It's in all other fields.
Yeah, I think let me just give you an example to back up what Praise is saying. You know, while I was in the university, I was the guild president. So we could go into university council meeting. You know, it's the most highest body of the university. Now, there are funding for the university that has been approved.
Yeah.
But they deliberately refuse to release it.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
You get it? So they think, they look at something, they may think that, you know, this is not priority to them. Then they move money away from it.
But it has been approved.
Yeah, it has been approved. Parliament has approved the funding. Then the vice chancellor has to go around to the first lady, go to this. You get it? That's how crooked the system is. A project's approved to get done maybe in the next 2 years or 3 years. Then takes 7 years or 8 or more. There's a project I know. No money for it was approved. Parliament had approved it. It was supposed to get done in the university. It has taken up to now. It is not yet done. This is since 2019. You get it? So, yet money is approved. So, I think these people the mafias have a way of moving money where they think it's a priority. And the priority of this country is politics. And I think you well know that. I'm quite sure you saw the headlines that they are now going to move. They're going to start paying
RDCs more. 9 million Ugandan shillings, but you can't fund interns, medical interns.
So you get it. You get where our priority lies.
I thought you were going to say they move it where they can steal it, but anyway.
yeah, of course.
That's also theft. It's just endorsed theft and rubber stamped theft, but it is theft.
Anyama, what goes on in the mind of a medical intern? Okay, because they're not yet medical interns, they are pre-medical interns. They thought they were finishing. They're going to graduate with everyone else. They are telling them they have to do an extra year. They are telling them they're not going to be paid facilitation. I mean, they're also like parents who thought this thing is done.
It's done. The battle is over.
What do you think is going on in their mind?
It's really a lot. You see, when you're admitted for medicine, automatically you think you have made it. You get it.
I mean, you've made it.
Yes.
Think about our guys who used to get PCB 2020.
Yes. So you have that feeling that really you have made it. It's going to be obvious
that you'll make money.
Yes, you'll make it. At least you have
life.
You have a stepping stone, I should say. Yeah, you know that in internship you have something little, you know, to survive on. You will no longer be disturbing your parents for money. Like that's how a lay person. Then those who are mature may think about saving some money. You get it. So that is what happens. But now with this, some people will be regretting that somebody looks at somebody who is doing business successfully, maybe in town here, had a starting capital of maybe 5 million or 10, and their business have grown. Somebody now looks back. Now imagine, especially people who studied from the private universities, they might have spent more than 100 million. You never know. They look back like, this money could have changed something. You get it? So it's really a lot of pain for most of these people. Most people are battling depression. I think you may not know. Most health workers they're battling depression. And what is the major cause of depression for an ideal person, you and me? Issues of money. And you are not getting money, you're not going to be paid, and you're going to be working in such tense pressure. Like, it's really not worth it. It's really not worth it. This modern slavery, it's something which I strongly call all health workers, to unite, all schools where doctors that have been producing doctors and doctors to school, all parents, we need to reject this kind of, very unfair policies. Yes.
I just want to know, how lethal is it for someone who has graduated medical school not to have this internship? Like, aren't there other options? Like, why do you want to do that? Can't everyone afford to branch off and not practice the clinical medicine? Why is it very important for them?
Okay. You see, basically, there are other opportunities, maybe more in public health, could be in research, research related. Then, of course, me as a doctor, I can do any course. Most of the courses I can do, the business administration, a number of, there are those other courses which you can basically do. But the employability is what we are looking at. So we have lesser opportunities
without that
yes.
certificate.
Yeah, then and also it's worse, we without doing this you cannot do masters in some specialty. There's some specialty that needs you to have done internship. You need to have experience. You want to do masters in surgery, you want to do masters in gyne. These things you need to have gone through this. Unless you are going to be maybe doing masters in those sciences. Maybe you want to go and teach anatomy, biochemistry in the universities. That's one there you can do it without the internship. But what is the chance of the opportunity you can get going to be employed? You get it. So most times it is safer, technically it's safer for you to have done internship.
Yes. So it creates more employability for these people.
Yes.
As they come out of this medical school too.
I mean, even the idea that, you want to save lives, you want to provide medical care to citizens, human beings itself.
True.
So me what I want to talk about is, so oftentimes, of course, we people in the public sphere, you talk about politics, talk about taxes, but I think we often don't know what happens within like the medical world, your echo chamber there. What does it look like within the profession? What are the opportunities? What are the frustrations? Because I think now what the medical intern discussion takes us into is opens the Pandora box of saying, look, actually it's not okay for medical doctors or health workers as everyone else thought.
Yeah, because
when we're out here we think, if you're a doctor,
once you're a doctor, you've made it, you're rich. As a matter of fact, Anyama, our drinks are on you after. Yeah,
you can imagine.
Exactly.
Yes. So you see, we as a country, we have a lot of problems. Just as if you watch the interview of Chris, the Honorable Minister for Health, he had put it that over the years, the country has been producing doctors. And most of the doctors are not employed by the government.
Yes.
And it is the government that pays fairly. So you see there are so many private facilities around. Actually, because of the numbers, they're exploiting doctors. I'm quite sure people may be having talks that young lawyers are being exploited.
Yes.
But I can tell you that some doctors who are being exploited properly. And it's more so if, you know how this thing is. Our course, some people are so focused in the book and really they don't know, they are not really well aligned with how the politics in the society is, how to know the politics of job, So at the end of the day,
laws that govern you,
yes,
your working rights, workers' rights.
Most people, they don't know that. So when you come up, you are very naive. Of course, you are excellent in what you know, but you are naive in these other aspects. What does it leave? You try applying, you apply maybe 20 times. I may be lucky, I did not go through all that struggle. But you have applied maybe 20 times or more, and you have not been employed. Then somebody tells you, praise, doctor, praise. I see you're not having job. Like, yes, I've been applying. I can't afford now data. Like, praise, why don't you come? Let me talk to Lawel. Lawel has a facility there. I've tried to talk to him. Let him give you at least something little to keep you busy. Then he and Lawel end up proposing to give you 500,000 or maybe 1 million. Like, yeah, you can imagine, like, what the hell is that? You get it? So we still have that challenge. And more so in Kampala here, there are so many doctors being exploited. And we know some doctors who have committed suicide because of depression. You have to be jungling night duties from maybe Chala Jala. You run to Mukono, the other side, you come to Mengo, to
Trying to aggregate.
Trying
Little, little money.
trying to so it's something which is it's a very difficult conversation.
So it's
which,
not as fancy as the president
yes,
paints it.
It's not fancy. It's not fancy. It's never fancy. But ideally, as a doctor, your life is supposed to be very simple.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be very simple. And
easy.
Like what I'm saying is easy, yes. Yeah, because a doctor is supposed to work for 45 hours a week. You get it? That way you can be very useful when I am working my duty, I am alert in a week, 45 hours. So when I see praise, I look at praise's condition thoroughly in every aspect because I'm
your mind is alert.
I'm fresh, I'm all that. Because this is a human being I'm dealing with. Now you get somebody who is jangling. That I said the person has not slept. He has been doing night duties. He's running here. And at the end of the day, we're having people who are very dangerous to the community.
I know I sound like a broken record because I've shared this story so many times. But for me, this takes me back to my experience when I was giving birth, right? Because I was in Palisa Main Hospital, and it's one of the typical examples of how understaffed our hospitals are, or our health sector is entirely as a country. And I remember being in that bed. I remember having 2 women on this side and 2 other women on this side. There's a lady that had been in labor, I think, for more than a day, 24 hours. She was almost losing her life. But the doctor that was supposed to be in theater was home resting. Why? He had just left his previous shift. The person supposed to take over him was not there. And this guy is like the expert in doing that. I get done giving birth. I have like this tear. And you could see it was one midwife working on all these women at the same time. And then there were these, like you said, the interns that are usually there, very excited, but they also have no idea what they're doing. And they're always going back like, the water is not broken. What should we do? And you always wonder why those women are the most angry, slapping pregnant mothers, laboring women. You're like, why is there so much animosity coming from these people? But now when you give us that inner picture, I think it speaks a lot to, like you said, the Pandora box of issues.
Yeah, just I wanted to clarify. I think what you meant in Paris, those are not interns. Maybe they are students who are practicing.
I know they could actually be students, not interns.
Intern. When you meet an intern doctor, you really
can
need.
Tell.
Yes.
No, this one wasn't, because they didn't seem sure about what they were doing.
Yeah.
So now, even with that clarity, it makes more sense that before you even graduate, you've had a hands-on experience with most of these issues, which is why it separates you much further from any other form of internship where you clearly are, man, it's
But I think
terrible.
also, like, what I get from what you're saying is, there's been this issue of brain drain where doctors leave the country. So now it makes sense, because if people are finishing university or internship and government is not recruiting, they have no alternatives. So except to go and look for opportunities elsewhere. So I've seen people are trying to, I've seen certain voices who are saying, these guys, we educate them and then they go out of the country. And now I'm wondering if you're not going to deploy them, if you're not going to employ them, then they have no option but to look for where to go. Even if it was not a comparison of who pays better, even if they wanted to serve their country, they would not have any opportunity.
You see, just, the doctors who remain poor are the doctors who remain in the country here. Yeah, because I can just attest to you, a doctor can decide to cross to South Sudan. The minimum they may get there may be $2,500 US dollars. Yeah. You get it. Yes. So then you go to Kenya, you realize what the interns there earn is more than what the doctors who are employed by government here earn.
Wow.
You understand? So really, there is a lot happening in the country, and I don't know. You see, sometimes also community that is desperate and poor are easy to rule. I don't know whether it's a
strategy.
Way.
It is a deliberate strategy.
Yes, because I can tell you the health force of the country, if they are to decide anything, they are the people who can easily change the government.
Yeah, and I need you to speak to that because I feel that medical guys, like you said, they're so out of touch with the politics of the country. And yet they are such a strong pillar in either breaking or building the nation.
Yeah, actually, you see, the people in the health sector, the teachers, these are people who can cause, a change in regime. And it is in such a way that the government always tries to do manipulations. They use people of their own to make announcements, to defend fake policies. It's really disturbing. And for me, if you look at the aspect of brain drain, most people, me, don't be surprised in case I disappear from the country. Yes, so many. I have just friends who have left to the US. Who have left to the US. We have very brilliant brains. I can tell you, very brilliant brains.
I think that's the idea of like patriotism, because you would say one would finish medical school and wants to treat Ugandans because they love their country. They want to stay here. Maybe they were inspired when they were still young for someone who maybe saved their mother or siblings' life. But I always tell people that the idea of patriotism presupposes that the country itself loves you
back.
Yeah, so like if you finish
a toxic relationship.
Yeah, like if you finish university and before you graduate, they tell you we are making you're not graduate. We are not going to consult you. First of all, we are just going to come up with a policy. We're not going to pay you to accommodation where you're going to do medical internship from. We are not going to buy for you food. I think then the country has failed, and I think at some point you don't have this obligation to serve it, because it's not willing to serve you or even protect you. And as a leader, maybe in you're still youth. I was going to say in your youthful days, but at university, I'm sure you understand this whole idea of serving.
Yeah, you see, I can tell you, most of us, and actually up to now, I think there's no country better than Uganda. Home is home. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah, but there are so many things which are not right here. You get it? If we had to make certain things right, this country will have been a much better place.
We're in a toxic relationship with
our
country.
So we're in a toxic relationship
it's
with
like
our country.
The patriotism here they want to do is that they want you to work like you are dying without pay.
Donkeys, labor.
Then there is somebody, Samara, this is there, somebody who is just
no skill, no investment in anything, just being a politician.
See, and then the person,
is working on with 9 million.
9 million, 20
million.
It is the politicians who
are
taking the credit. I can tell you, every day a doctor works like you are saving life. Why am I saying this? I had moments when, if I were not to think otherwise, life would have gone. Especially with the mothers. Sometimes you are deep there in the night. You have gotten a mother who was from a traditional birth attendant. Maybe a mother who was operated maybe 2 times, 3 times.
In their previous...
Yes, in their previous deliveries. Then they are not supposed to push, but they are with traditional birth attendants. They come when their uterus has ruptured. The baby is floating inside the abdomen mixed with the intestines there. Then this mother comes, you are the one there, you see this mother is almost. They tell you, doctor, I'm going to die. Start even grab you, please work on me. If I don't work, this person may go. If I refer in the next 1 hour, the person may not make it. You be like, let me risk and go and do the procedure. You survive. Sometimes the uterus may not survive. You struggle. And the person comes alive. You just see us walking normally. But sometimes you be like,
that was a
this be like God. Yes, like it was really God. It was really God. So there is a lot, what health workers go through, in the profession. If like you see how a politician does something and puts it out there. if we had to do it and it's to be put there.
Like every time
People
you
be
save
like,
a life, you
Yes, you save a life, you're like,
Yes.
saved too today.
Yes.
yeah, but also it's like this caption of I had to do this.
Yes.
If I had not
Yes.
done it.
So if
Even the bushwalk
no,
conversation.
yes, if some of the things that happen, that you know where a life is pulled, a life is saved, maybe in the theaters and what is to be brought to the community or to the public, you will see a debate that politicians be like, doctors deserve 50 million or more.
And for me, I think that's the thing that I always say that's the thing, but that's part of the things that the medical or health sector is such a selfless sector that there is nothing you do that's for yourself. Even though you do it for yourself, it directly and inherently benefits someone else. It's not a career like music where you say, I'm going to sing, get the fame, and I can make as much money as I want and no one will benefit, and I'll go with it, right? The very success of your career is dependent on the fact that it has to benefit the people directly in society. So you can't even say that these medical interns are just being selfish and it's all about them.
Yeah, I think what you're also saying is the difference between life and death. Because like for an artist, the consumers, it's not luxury, it's leisure.
Leisure.
So you want to feel better.
Yeah,
but
you can choose to opt in or opt out.
Yeah, but for doctors, it's life and death. It's
Life
a
and
difference
death.
between what
Yeah.
you speaking and not waking
not
up.
being able to wake up the next day.
Have you ever felt this moment? You might have gone maybe for a show or for some entertainment kind of thing. Somebody does something nice and you willingly pull out money.
Yes.
Now, in a hospital,
Tipping.
is it possible? Like is there something that is going to excite you from nowhere? You go and pull out your money? No, it's hard because you know where we are. The environment has sorrow on it.
Yeah, you're crying.
You know, it's a sad environment. You get it.
Yeah.
People who come, or actually people who leave the hospital smiling. Most of the people where there's excitement, where maybe you have delivered a baby and all that, you know. But I can tell you, most part of the hospital, it's sad.
I mean, if your bill is 10M, where are you going to get the tip to give? And yet you have crowdfunding for even the bill to be paid at the end of the day. Yes. So the only way a doctor can be appreciated is through their salary.
So there's like the bill, but as early as first year medical school, because when we had reached campus to our medical schools, and there's that thing where they are introduced to, I don't know what you call it, but they're corpses, like
Cadavers.
Cadavers, okay.
Yeah.
The people you have to experiment on. I don't know if I can do that. You get?
Yes.
And then I'm imagining that's someone's workplace.
Every day, the mental stress,
Yeah.
it carries with them. The like to see death every day of your life, to see life gruesome. Now I don't need financial complications.
It's a graphic. We talked really about that, but maybe I just wanted to switch it a little in terms of value for money. It's just 1 million, 2.5 million. But even we go back to the discussion we've just had, is that you save people in a government hospital. That same patient would have paid maybe even 3 million, 4 million for that procedure in a private hospital. So there's value for money. But what I wanted to shift was also when you talk about government priorities, you've seen the 10-fold growth strategy of 2030. So I was looking at some statistics where they were saying that also in that policy, the National Education and Training Policy, the one we are talking about, that by 2030 they need about, I think 210,000 health workers by 2030, and currently they have about 30,000. For that to happen, they would have to increase it, I think, by like 10-fold or 100-fold. You've seen countries like Cuba, where even when they have these American sanctions, even when the economy is screwed, at least they specialize in medical, and they have the finest doctors. They have.
You'll always find a Cuban doctor in every country.
Exactly. So what I'm talking about is even away from even saving lives to even the economic sense of it, but also the mere thing that you need a health labor or youthful population.
You need a healthy population
for it to
inject into the economy.
For it to be productive.
Yes.
I mean, those people are planning the finances. They maybe they want to make economic arguments, but even from that angle, you realize that it's important. Even as an economic angle, it's still important that this money is invested in the medical interns and medical education.
Everything, any conversation that the state can have, even the very existence of a state is stemmed on the fact that there should be people who live in that state, who have lives, to exercise the rights you want to give them, to build the schools you want to build for them, to construct the roads that you say you want them to use, to buy the security for, and for a country that is not at war with any country. I don't know if we are fighting any wars.
For others.
Exactly. Why is our security budget, that lump sum? And you find that what these medical interns are asking for is just 1% of the security budget. But they're saying boldly that they don't have that money.
Maybe there's a case to make for security. But I think there's no...
What's the case to make for security?
It's not even we're not even competing. I mean, security could be crucial for safety and reassurance. But I mean, we have vehicles, like you were saying, like buying 200, 300 million vehicles for members of parliament who already have a salary. We are paying insurance for these people who, if they bettered the health sector, could benefit.
I get the examples can get more ridiculous as the days go down. We can look at the allowances speakers earn or their per diems they get when they travel to go for leisure and stuff like that. But even those small things, because most times you find that the security budget is where they steal most money. It comes in that, what they call that budget?
There's the classified budget.
The classified budget, right? And for people that have really studied it, they know that most of this money is still going into the security. And why I say it's not even, it's a very important sector. But my point is, before you say you're buying guns to go fight wars which are not even ours, or to protect us as a country, are you going to protect dead men? Right? Exactly. So, irregardless of everything, I think what we all agree with on this table is that these people needed, the sector as a health sector in and of itself needs to be given the most attention. Health workers should be treated in such a way that at the end of the day, they're in the best mental state to treat the people of this country, to help cure. Now, to conclude, because we are now running out of time, now let's move to the way forwards. What does organizing look like? What does mobilizing to fight against this policy
What's your message
look like? What's your message in line with that?
The interns, to the doctors, to
because you've
Ministry
been there
Health.
before. I've seen you on the streets. I've seen you. And this is now also to look at it in a way that maybe we need to change strategy because we can't keep protesting all the time. Do we need to overthrow the government?
Yeah. So I think... just to answer your question the way it is, I'm quite sure you saw there was a time randomly the president tells we are giving 32 billion for maybe artists. Yes, randomly. Yes. Not planned. You get it? You
look like you don't remember. Do you remember?
I remember him giving my idea. It was that much. But also, I'm also like trying to process. Process it.
So usually what I've just learned is that the government takes you very serious when you have organized politically. You get it? The artists have organized politically. That's why they have been taken very serious. Now, how about 20, actually it will be less than that. The 28 billion they're talking about. How about that money which was planned in the budget? Yes. Where do you think the money disappeared? The money has not disappeared anywhere. It's there, but they are plotting to use it for something else. So it's upon ourselves as medical doctors, first of all, who understand the struggle that we experience. It is very unfair to allow your younger ones to suffer the way you might have suffered. Then the other thing, which is also very unfair, is if you had at least if in your family you are having at least meal once a day, how painful will it be that your siblings don't eat, at least have that meal? So we really need to, to have the nervous system that feels the pain of these other interns. If we are doing that, it means we are indirectly feeling the pains of other Ugandans. Your family, my family, because we are here, we don't know what may happen to our family members. Somebody may be traveling to Gulu, something happens, they are going to land in the hands of these interns. An intern who might have not eaten will be maybe in the theater the entire day. Will end up collapsing.
Sees a kidney as a stomach.
Yes, I can tell you, we have seen colleagues who have fainted. Even, by the way, there are surgeons who faint. Surgeons, consultants. Like you have a procedure. There are some procedures which get complicated from 5 hours. They are standing, you collapse. Now imagine somebody who is going to assist in a complicated procedure and they have not eaten. This person may end up may be the only one who is supposed to work on your family member. And there will be other line of other patients. And for us, we don't discriminate. We deal with first come, first served, or maybe depending on the severity of the case. So we really need to push the government. We are not going to relent on this. We need to take deliberate measures.
Can I say something there a little? It has just popped in my head and I feel it's like a conversation we have not had. Then we go back on to the conclusion. The fact that it's going to worsen the bribing in the health sector. Because I mean, if there is a long line of people and there's someone going to give me 5K, there's someone going to give me 10K, 50K, I'm going to give them more priority. And the fact that they've given me that money doesn't mean that they're in the most emergent state. There could be people in that line who even have worse emergencies, right? But I'll pick that person over because I'm thinking, I've not eaten, there is rent on my neck. So, wow.
Yeah, just to pick up from what she has said, you realize that they are talking about changing the mode of internship. They want people to first finish internship before graduating. Yes. They said in the last 4 years, only 8 people failed internship. And how did those people fail internship? Because of the things you are mentioning. Some people were got maybe, taking bribes from patients. You get it? Yes. Now imagine if these people are not paid.
How many more?
The number is going to go 10 or maybe 100 falls. Yes. It's something which is not good. To have doctors who are going to look at you, be like,
this one looks like
this one, you get it. So it's something which we have taken oath against. We have taken oath against that. Things like bribery, discrimination, it's not supposed to be there.
By that time, according to the new policy, by that time you've not taken the oath, right?
But you're practicing.
Yeah, so actually for them that thing is just very legal. They're just trying to figure out a way. It's very legal. You cannot license a student to practice. You get it?
Yes.
It's crazy.
So the difference is currently they are licensed to operate. Yes. They take that oath. But if they make it that you're still a student,
then why should you take the oath?
You don't have the same obligations.
Make that argument. Give us less working hours. Let us choose where we want to practice for ourselves, so that you don't throw me in Gulu and yet I can't afford to rent there. I can't afford so don't give us the burdens that you give actual doctors at the end of the day. So anyway, back to your solutions.
Yeah, I think one of the most important thing I see already is UMA has taken a lead, and senior professionals that have come, to distance themselves from this policy. Yes. And that is, a good move. So the next thing to do is the various politicians. We need political will. They should back these professional bodies, their proposals. If there is any recommendation they want to have or any amendments they want to have, they should consult our regulatory body. Our Association for the Medical Doctors should consult the various universities.
Which didn't happen.
Yes. If there is anything to do, maybe if they want to come up with anything new, that's what they should do. Then the final thing is they must pay us. There is no talk about that.
There's no way around that.
Yes, there is no way around that. We need interns paid. We need interns paid.
Actually, the conversation should be on making their payment better.
Better, yes. The conversation should be about that. Yeah. And actually, we need now even to know who decided that interns should be paid what.
1 million
1 million. You never know that they diverted the money for politics.
in this election.
You get it?
Yeah.
Maybe now since the elections are done, they should now reinstate the 2.5 payment for the interns. So I think basically that's what we need.
Yeah. I think that's it for our conversation today. We would like you to share your views in the comment section, to like and share this video, because from the discussion that we've had here today, you can clearly tell that the health sector of this country is one of the backbones of this country. And where there is no life, where there is no healthy life, everything else doesn't matter. You could be a borderman, you could be a teacher, you could be a lawyer, you could, range from one class of this society to another class of this society. But when it comes to the issue of life, we are all reduced back to the hands of a certain doctor, a certain nurse, a certain clinical, practitioner, who at the end of the day determines whether we live or we don't live, to get to enjoy all the things that life comes with. As usual, we always have our podcasts aired out. Just keep looking out for them and sharing them. But most importantly, on this conversation, remember the role that you have to play. Let's not leave this battle just to the doctors, to the people that have graduated medical school, because this affects each and every one of us. Let us join hands and demand that, one, these people are paid for the services that they offer, the crucial services that they offer to this country, but also that their payment is revised to actually look at the effects, to look at the conditions under which they work, the things that they need to make it much better. Because like the doctor here told us, the good doctor told us, it's very important for doctors to be in the best state of their mind such that they can offer the best services to us. Till then, stay safe.